The North Carolina Daily Homestyle Production Record for residential child care institutions. Preparing meals in a homestyle kitchen is a required record for the National School Lunch Program. The information is to be recorded daily and kept in the school's food preparation and service area. The production record is a management tool that will provide information for planning, producing, and serving daily school meals. It is a required document used to determine nutritional adequacy, assess food safety practices, and support the claim for reimbursable meals. All completed production records are to be kept on file for 3 years, plus the current school year. All forms other than the DPI prototype production record must be approved in writing by the state agency prior to use. The form must be completed thoroughly and accurately daily to support the student meal reimbursement claim. It is recommended that Sections 1, which covers menu items and target temperatures, and Sections 3, 6, 7, 8, 9A, 9B be completed at least 1 to 2 weeks ahead of the day of actual meal service to allow the production record to be used as a tool for ordering and purchasing food. Other sections must be completed on the day of meal service. Now let's look at each section in more detail and learn how to complete the daily production record for lunch. Under the menu section, enter the menu planned for the day. List any additions to the menu or substitutions from the planned menu. The following information needs to be completed only for menu items that are time and temperature controlled for safety or TCS foods. See the menu summary information in HACCP Section 1-1, Menus and Recipes. Temperatures are only recorded for the first pan or batch of each menu item. The temperature of all remaining pans will be checked for doneness, or the temperature will be checked before the item is removed from the refrigerator, but not recorded on the production record. Be sure employees are using a properly calibrated thermometer. Cook target temperature. Record the safe cooking or preparation temperatures for each TCS menu item. See HACCP Section 2-5, Safe Food Handling Procedures. Time first pan removed. Record the time that the first pan of TCS food was removed from the oven, or in the case of cold food, when preparation was completed. Food temperature once cooked or prepared. Check the actual food temperature with a properly calibrated thermometer. If the food does not meet the cook target temperature, continue cooking until it does. Do not record this temperature because the corrective action is to continue to cook the item to the proper temperature before service. Do not serve the food until it is safe to eat. In summary, the temperatures recorded in this column should be the end cooking temperatures for menu items that have reached the cook target temperature, or the temperature of cold foods when preparation is completed. If the temperature is not at 41 degrees or below for a TCS cold food, chill the food to this temperature within 2 hours in order to serve it safely. If time as a public health control or TPHC procedures are being implemented as a food safety control, follow the procedure for documenting time when removed from holding and discard times. Food subject to TPHC must be discarded by the end of the time specified in the approved TPHC procedures. File copies of all approved TPHC procedures in the HACCP plan in Section 1-1, Menus and Recipes. Failure to follow exactly will result in an environmental health violation. In Section 2, enter the name of the homestyle facility or cottage, the manager's signature, and date of meal service. The signature indicates that the manager or person in charge has fully reviewed the meal planning, production, and service, and is satisfied with the accuracy of the information. Section 3 is where you record the total number of planned reimbursable student meals. This will be the number of column 9B minus the planned number of adult meals. After the meal service, record the total number of students served, indicating the meal pattern used, such as K through 5, 6 through 8, K through 8, or 9 through 12. Indicate the number of child nutrition meals, if any, other adult meals served, if any, adding all columns to determine the total meals served. Check if students participate in offer versus serve and indicate grade levels implementing offer versus serve. Check if water is available at meal service. In Section 5, the personnel information and these 5 items support your daily HACCP plan. Each should be checked if in place. Note any corrective action taken if you were unable to check that all were in place. Healthy. Are all employees who are handling and serving foods healthy? If an individual is sick, he or she should not be handling exposed food, single-use articles, cleaned and sanitized dishware and equipment, and clean linens. Clean appearance. Are employees properly dressed according to the food safety standards outlined in 2-4, prerequisite programs? Washing hands. Are employees properly washing their hands with warm water, soap, and drying? No bare hand contact. Employees should not be handling cooked or ready-to-eat foods with their bare hands. They should use tongs, utensils, deli tissue, or single-use gloves. Thermometers checked and calibrated if needed. Are thermometers checked for accuracy daily and calibrated if needed? Calibration is the process of verifying the accuracy of a thermometer. Thermocouples do not require calibration. If using one, make a notation of NA or not applicable. In Section 6, write in the menu items written in Section 1. Separate them by meal component in column 6. Include descriptive information about each product to assure an accurate nutrient analysis. For example, sweetened, reduced fat, fat-free, diced, sliced, fresh, frozen, etc. Identify whole wheat products with WW and whole grain products with WG. Please note that fruit and vegetables are now separate components and need to be documented individually on the production record. Meal components are different for breakfast and for lunch, requiring the use of different production records for each meal. Remember to list the various milk varieties the same way that you list any other menu item. Include condiments with the serving size. Under the menu substitution, add items on the day of service that would be considered a menu substitution since the original planned amounts would be adjusted to accommodate this last-minute addition. If any menu items are substituted on the day of meal service, draw a line through the menu item that will not be served and list the substituted menu item in this section. Complete columns 7 through 12 for the menu substitutions. In Section 7, enter the amount of meal pattern contribution for each menu item using the units provided. For example, 2-ounce equivalent meat or meat alternate, 1-ounce equivalent of grain, half cup fruit, half cup vegetable, 1 cup milk. Remember that the meal pattern contribution may be different than the actual weight or measure of the portion size. For example, 5 chicken nuggets may contribute 2-ounce equivalent of meat or meat alternate to the meal pattern, but their total weight may be more than 2 ounces. The actual portion size listed in column 8 would be 5 nuggets. The meal pattern contribution should be included on each standardized recipe and can be determined from the USDA Food Buying Guide, child nutrition labels, and product formulation statements. You can learn more about the lunch meal pattern in the Meal Pattern module of this course. In column 8, enter the actual portion size of each menu item. Portion size is the amount of food expected to be on the tray or plate. Remember that the portion size must be in measurable units such as each, cup, ounce, etc. This information can be obtained from the recipes which are based on the USDA Food Buying Guide, child nutrition labels, USDA food fact sheets, or product formulation statements. Section 9 has to do with the meal preparation information in column A. The first one, enter the recipe number for each menu item. Remember, every item on your menu must have a standardized recipe. If a menu item consists of one ingredient, you may record the product brand in this column. See HACCP Binder number 1 for more information on recipes. In the next column, enter the number of servings of each menu item planned for student reimbursable meals and any adults who may be eating. Include planned servings of condiments, milk, as well as all other menu items. If offer versus serve is not used, you would plan for each student reimbursable meal to include all components. If using offer versus serve, planning should be based on what is usually selected by students in your facilities. Remember to plan reasonable amounts of menu items to avoid excessive leftovers. In the third column under Section 9, record the total quantity of food prepared for the meal. This demonstrates that the amount of food was adequate for the meal pattern requirements. Enter the bulk quantity of the amounts of each menu item prepared for the meal. For example, 1 number 2.5 can of peas, 3 pounds of frozen carrots. Since food comes in various can sizes, be sure to record the size used. See the Food Buying Guide introduction for information on the various can sizes. In Section 10-A, record the number of portions or servings of each menu item served to students as part of reimbursable meals. In column 10-B, record the number of portions or servings of each menu item served for adult meals. In column 11-A, enter actual number of portions of each menu or food item left after all meals have been served, regardless of saving or discarding the food. For column 11-B at the end of meal service, record in this column either 1. The time meal service ends if all food items are to be discarded, or 2. The temperature of each TCS menu item prior to discarding the food. If any menu items, such as cartons of milk, are routinely saved for reservice, the temperature of the food must be recorded in column 11-B at the end of the meal. Remember, all TCS foods must be discarded and cannot be saved and reserved as leftovers. All self-service food or food served family style must be discarded at the end of the meal, too. Under the next column, write in special directions, food preparation and serving notes, comments, recipe information, or other information relative to the menu production for the day's menu or notes for another day. And now let's review what you've learned.